What's crack-a-lackin', fellas? Today I figured, since I believe it was today or yesterday, Magnus and Hikaru played two games entitled Tuesday. So I decided, hey, I'm gonna play my 500 rated version of Title Tuesday, and we'll see how it goes. So I was playing with the black pieces here. My opponent was playing with white, and yeah, let's just jump into it. He plays e4. I played e6. I was going for I believe it was called a French. D4, D5, and then he locks the center. So I play knight c6 with the idea of him pushing there and me trying to get a bishop, a knight, after developing this bishop to d6. That was my plan. And as we see, plan goes relatively swimmingly. Takes. Knight g5, and then I play bishop to e6, hoping to get rid of the knight, ship it back to where it came from. Currently I have decent pressure on that pawn, but I would love to get another piece over to help try and keep the queen away. But then he plays h4. h4 I don't really understand because the knight can be pushed away by h6. So the knight goes back to f3. I play a5, just trying to swing on this side of the board, get some pieces going. Castles, a4. So I'm really just advancing this pawn, trying to make it a thorn in their position. They could always do, and then suddenly we're trading the rooks. But instead, he plays g3, which I did not understand. Time was still good on both of our sides. So I castle, and then knight c3. Knight c3, obviously attacking that piece. If he puts I don't know, say queen, or just pushes another pawn, takes, I don't really know what the point of that move is, so I attack it with the bishop to b4. He plays, just completely giving up the knight for free, basically. Does get an attack on the queen, though, but of course I move her to e8. He then brings the queen over to g4, obviously trying to go for a mate. I just take the knight. He continues the mate ideas. The only thing that I saw in this position was to push the pawn, keep it guarded, but I would have to give up a rook for that. So I do that. I don't really see any other alternatives, because it's not like I can take. It just won't let me if I push my king there, queen there, and that's just checkmate. So I sack the rook. He doesn't take it, though. So I attack the queen, trying to buy my rook some more time. Queen gonna go there, yep. And then I play queen to e7, trying to get a trade of the queens. Get the queens off the board. He takes my rook. I'm still up. I'm up 5 points of material. Notice this bishop is still just completely hanging, and he could easily redefend that pawn, but he just chooses not to. Takes the rook. I take back with the queen, saying, no, I don't want to do the queen trade anymore. I like my queen where she is. She can easily come in, help the bishop out, get a nice little forky fork at some point. Queen takes, block with the queen, nothing. So then I trade the queens. I was like, you know what, whatever. This will damage the structure. He's going to bring the rooks over, try to double them up on the h-file. I can already see what he's doing, so I push the king. There he goes. I take the pawn just to get my bishop out of, death. I take the pawn with the king. Rook h3, obviously trying to double the rooks and give checks, which, I mean, I do have a great escape plan for that. Well, not so much those, but if I put the bishop there, I can easily get the king there, and the king's out. So I take the pawn, trying to make room for the king and the bishop, get him some open area, and defend that pawn further. Rook h1, bring the bishop down so I can skedaddle my way out with the king. Check, move to g7. Rook h7, my bad. check. I go to f8, rook h8, e7, and then he brings both of the rooks, obviously wanting that pawn. It is defended twice, but he clearly wants the pawn. Another check, the king gets out. This square is defended from a rook, so what he does is double the rooks. Smart. He wants that pawn, so of course I bring my bishop back. Take the pawn on h5, defending that. King defends. He only has 2 attackers. I can easily bring the knight back to defend again. That pawn is well defended. Brings the king, play a check. Obviously going to win that pawn, so I do that. Another check. He attacks. I'm going to forky fork this pawn as well. Win the pawn. Plays rook to e7, which is clearly going for that pawn. I defend it with the king. Rook to h6, really attacking said pawn. I could easily just go bishop there, but I bring the rook over for ulterior motives purpose, and also I had 14 seconds. We did not have much time in this game. So he takes, I move my king. That's just a clean give up of a bishop, which he takes. I play bishop to b5, 12 seconds by the way. This is a huge time scramble, so none of these moves truly make sense. I don't know what I was doing with that other than trying to get the pawn to promote and be a bait for the king to just take it and let me get a queen, which happens. I get a check. I have that. King has to run there or there. Those are the only moves. So I decide, why not trade the queen? That's a move that I didn't think he would expect, and as you can see from the time consumption there, it didn't phase him at all. 0.1 second. So anyway, bring my king around to attack the rook. Moves the rook. Bring in pawns, bring in the king. Check. That can be taken by the rook. But then I attack the rook. Rook's going to go back there. That's an easy take, but I miss it because of time struggles. He pushes the pawn. Move my king out of the way for some reason. Still don't see that. And now I finally do. And then I push the other pawn, and he runs out of time. This was probably my best under pressure game I've ever played. I had no time. I wasn't even watching the time. I was honestly just watching YouTube while I was playing this game. So the game made no sense. The time scramble did not help. I didn't even notice I was under a time scramble until I had like 5 seconds at one point, where I then just started rushing. But yeah, I do hope that you guys had a good one. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. See ya. Peace.